Hey guys, and welcome to another GameXplain discussion. This time we're joined again by Tom Arnold, who's going to grill me on my time with the Wii U exclusive LEGO City Undercover. Now I apologize in advance for the repetitive footage since there's not much yet available. And with that, take it away, Tom.
Okay, Andre, you recently played LEGO City Undercover. About how long did you play it for?
I got to play for about an hour.
Now we've seen a lot of cutscenes and stuff for this game so far. How much gameplay was there compared to just, watching these funny, I'll put in quotes, because it kind of depends on the person cutscenes?
Yeah, well, it's actually hard to say. I mean, based on what I saw, it was pretty split in half, half cutscenes, half gameplay, but that's because, I just started a new file.
Right.
So I'm guessing it's pretty, front-loaded with a lot of cutscenes. Because it has a whole opening sequence, and then you have to get, the early introductory missions have, cutscenes to, get you used to the gameplay mechanics and the characters. So it's hard to say. I mean, based on what I saw, it seemed like a pretty good ratio.
Okay, so did you start right at the very beginning then?
I start off at basically the beginning. Then we skipped ahead a couple of missions. But it begins with like a really well done introductory sequence. With introducing our character as this undercover cop, and then
so they cut right to the chase.
They very much do. So they do a really good job of introducing who you are and the police force you work for and all that jazz.
One concern of mine seen at E3 was that it was just video, but it looked kind of choppy. How did the game's overall frame rate and stuff appear when you actually played it?
I didn't notice any problems with it. I wasn't paying too much attention to it, though. It's always hard to pay attention to the technical aspects, when you're playing a game in a room full of people, talking to you the whole time. But it seemed competent. There were some graphical issues, but a lot of it was because they stressed the fact that this was an early build, and a lot of the things that I was saying have already been fixed in the later builds. But yeah, so I mean, it seemed okay. And the little things that I did see, I brushed off as being an early build. So he assured me they were fixed. So hopefully that's the case.
Now this kind of looks like Grand Theft Auto Lego to me. But there are vehicles in the game. How big of a world is this that you get to just go around in? Like, how did you scratch the surface of it?
I scratched the surface, and even that's putting it generously. I drove around a little bit. I didn't get to see much, but it does seem to be a pretty big world. In terms of structure, it seems to be most similar to the Batman game, in that you have a giant open world to go around, but the game's still pretty much linear.
Yeah.
The missions, as far as I can tell, all happen in a linear fashion, and you just go from point to point to accomplish those missions. But in the meantime, you can also explore the world and look for hidden things all over. So it seems very similar to the Batman games, or to the Batman game, except now or to the Batman Lego game, to be specific. Yeah. Except now you can hijack other vehicles as well. And by hijack, I mean you can hop into another vehicle with someone else, it seems like. Similar to Simpsons Hit and Run, where you weren't actually hijacking anyone, you're just kind of borrowing their ride for a little bit.
Okay, and another part of the game, they have disguises. Did you get to try a few disguises as Chase McCain and infiltrate different areas?
I believe there are 8 disguises in total you'll get throughout the course of the game. You can switch at any time. Again, if I had to compare it to something, it seemed like the suits from Batman, from Lego Batman, which I actually didn't play that much of, but I did see a bunch of that in previews. I was only able to see really 2 outfits, and that's the Undercover one, which you start with, and the Police Officer one. And the Undercover one, maybe I had to play more. I didn't really see it having any unique features. I'm guessing there's some scenes where it to blend in, probably. But the police one allowed you to do a few things, like interact with things at the police headquarters, like the computer. You actually had to be dressed up as your character to do that. And you can also use this grappling hook to swing across, across gaps or climb buildings and stuff like that. I'm sure there's more to each one as well, but there actually wasn't that much time to see all that much.
Why doesn't he just connect Lego and go across buildings and stuff between gaps?
That is a great question, because he does everything else with Legos. Like, he assembles whatever he needs right then, you know, using Legos. Yeah, why doesn't he just build a bridge?
Alright, now, importantly, because this is a Wii U exclusive game, how is the gamepad used? Is it put to good use?
You know what's funny? It's actually, despite it being like the polar opposite in terms of demographics, it actually seems very similar to Zombie U. In that, like, you actually acquire an item in game. I forget what they call it, like something like a police tool or police communicator or something.
Yeah.
And it looks just like the gamepad. Basically, it's a slate that looks like the gamepad, and it has similar functionality as Zombie U. It gives you like a map at times. There's actually like a little scanner mode too, where you can hold it up to the TV. You know, like you scan around like in first person, like this, like Zombie U scanner mode.
Yeah.
And you can lock onto treasure hidden in the environment. You can scan it to expose it on the map, as well as highlight it on the HUD, I believe.
Huh.
So that way you can go easily track it down and find it.
All right. Well, hey, not a bad idea to copy the best use of the Wii U gamepad potentially so far.
Yeah, that's definitely true. It looks like I wrote down a few things too. I guess you can also use it like for fast travel. I guess to easily select locations you've unlocked.
Yeah.
And that's about. I don't know how that works, but I didn't get to see that myself. But
yeah.
I'm sure there's other uses for it throughout the game.
I just feel it's too bad that you can't assemble Lego on it with the stylus. Sort of, I'm imagining something like Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts, like building the planes, but on the gamepad.
That would be really cool, actually. Yeah, something a little bit. It is odd how they haven't actually ventured into, as far as I know, like actually creating things with these Legos in these games. Besides the automatic process that your character has whenever he encounters like a
pile of Lego.
Yeah, pile of Legos, exactly.
Yeah. All right, well, this game, it sort of looks like a good one for Nintendo to entice maybe non-traditional game players to the Wii U. What are your sort of closing impressions on this early build of Lego City Undercover?
Yeah, I feel like if you liked previous Lego games, you'll probably like this. Or, I mean, you'll... Actually, that's even selling it short, because it does seem to be at least as good as the previous games. And again, though, it's hard to say for sure. I've only played an hour, and that was, even with a haphazard amount of, like gameplay and cutscenes. I was like all over the place. I will say the game, besides the bugs I saw, or besides the, little flaws I saw that should be fixed, it actually looked really good. Like all the Lego characters in the close-up scenes all like reflect, like they're all very like you can see reflections in them, and that all looked really good. It almost looked like they actually existed. And yeah, the game seems very structurally similar to Batman, and so if you like Batman, you'll probably end up liking this one. Again, hard to say for sure though. I saw just a small portion of it, but I do want to see more. Oh, and I should mention too, with the cutscenes, they are fantastic. Like the game has an excellent sense of humor. It spoofs movies, like tons of different movies, all the freaking time. I'm trying to remember offhand what there was like a Titanic spoof in there.
Titanic.
Yeah.
You'd expect the buddy cop movies.
Oh yeah, no, there's tons of those, but I'm not too hip on the buddy cop movies, unfortunately. So I got the Titanic reference. It probably says more about me than I should disclose publicly. But yeah, there was like a Titanic spoof. Like there's two characters on the nose of a boat, but then the boat crashes and they like fall into the ocean or something like that. I forget exactly. And yeah, the dialogue is razor sharp. It's all voiced again like Batman, and the voice acting's great. It's all really funny, and I actually enjoyed watching the cutscenes more than I did playing the game.
That's incentive to keep playing.
It is, definitely. Yeah, so it looks like it's shaping up together really well, and might actually be a compelling title coming up here in what seems to be a pretty vast landscape of emptiness for the Wii U's first quarter. Especially now that Pikmin 3's been delayed.
Oh wow, so Lego City Undercover, for people that aren't Andre, and if you like comedy movies, you might also like Lego City Undercover.
Exactly.
Alright, good to hear about high presentation values. I'm used to just seeing mouse moving with scrolling text underneath and not fully voiced.
And that wraps up our discussion for LEGO City Undercover. Thanks for watching, and make sure to stay tuned to GameXplain.com for more on the game and other things gaming too.